Alright, so watched a couple of videos last week, or over the last 2 weeks. Got some good ideas. But before I do what I saw on the internet and combine it with some of the things I have, I'm waiting on some products to come in. So in the meantime, I experimented to see what would work in what bowls that I want, that I have in the house, what wouldn't, different dyes, a couple different things I experimented with. So I think I'm going to label this video what not to do with borax, or complications of borax. I don't know, we'll see what happens. So first, this is what I used. Everybody uses this one. I never even seen this or heard of this, but it comes up, I got it online on Walmart, came in about 4 days. It's a 4-pound box. I got 2 of them. I can't remember how much it cost me. I'll get back to that in a second. I'll find out. I also bought this food coloring. I figured, well, you know what? I'll buy it. It's you know, somewhat natural, like vegan, vegetarian type stuff, not chemicals and everything. But then once I got it, let's see if it'll tune in. Polysorbent 80 is probably not good for you. Anyway, in case I wanted it to use, if I ever wanted to color my food just for the heck of it, which I wouldn't probably. But I noticed something pretty cool. It uses spirulina, but that's an issue. So if you get this dye and you haven't used it yet, there's an issue with the blue and the green with spirulina. I'm going to show you that in a second. So I got this to do something else on crystals and rocks that I have. So this is all new to me, but I am a rock guy. I collected rocks for probably the last 11 years, and I've found my own for the last probably 6 years, 7 years. And I do stuff like this. It won't come in that great because the bowl's in the way, but let's see. So that's a rock, and then anyway, under there's quartz crystals and iron pyrite. I put it in acid and everything. I'll show you a better example. I just want to give you an idea of what I do. So you only see this. So hold on a second. I don't have any fish in there, but I put some stuff in fish tanks, some beautiful moss agate and I don't know, agate type, beautiful Jasper agate stuff. And I started cutting and polishing stuff over the past year. Got a saw. I just got a really big saw. I'll show you that in a second. So this is the kind of stuff that I do. So this is something that's interesting that I'm going to work with now. So this is an obsidian like the rest of them that you see, except this one's got something cool to it. Look at that when you put it in the light, how that comes through, like that. So anyway, I just wanted to give you an idea of what I do, or what I started doing with some of the rocks and crystals that I find and everything like that, and that I collect. I find all these things and then I make them. I live in far northern California. This was one of my best finds ever. Just awesome. I'm waiting to cut on this rock here. It's so cool. So it's like a serpentine rock, right? So I took this, I made this, right? Then the other half, I'll show you what I did with the other half. So I made this with the other half. Really, really cool. Right, so I do that kind of stuff, and I collect natural, you know, in their natural form as well. All right, so back to this. That I found on the internet. I researched that afterwards by accident. I found that I was messing around with some calcite to clean it and see what would happen in acid. It started to dissolve and melt and everything. Then I found out that a lot of the calcite that you buy in the store is acid washed. And once I looked up and researched a little more, I found a guy that was doing this, and again, I can't show you here, but they're about 1/4 inch to a half inch in some spaces and an 1/8 inch in other spaces, and iron pyrite, and the acid dissolves it all, and hidden stuff is inside there. It's really awesome. All right, so back to this. See this mess right here? That's spirulina. That's the green spirulina. Now, I added it when it was warm. I didn't get to test it when it was green. Oh, you know what? I did do it. I squirted some in when it was green, and it kind of, I shook the heck out of it, and it did look more green, but it plopped to the bottom. So I'm going to take this out and see. This is about 20 to 22 hours. All this stuff, it hasn't been a full 24 hours. And this is, what do they call this? Pyrex, maybe, or something like that. This is like ancient. It's probably older than I am. I'm 51, and this is probably older than I am. And this thing, honestly, probably goes back 70 years, maybe. Then I tried something in a little tiny plastic Tupperware type thing that's flexible. Then this isn't Pyrex, but you can put this in the oven. This is bizarre. You can put this in the oven and apparently pour hot water into it, but you can't put it on the stove top or a flame. So that's really weird. Anyway, I'm going to show you what I did with this. Again, these are just testing things. I'm waiting on these things here. If you're not familiar with these, they're called pipe cleaners. I get this because I use glass straws when I drink. Now, a pipe cleaner I'm waiting on is just all these furry things like that. There will be none of that at the end. There will be none of that at the end. It will be just all that. And then you can flex them and bend them. And I did something similar to that I'm going to show you with. And I did this ahead of time so I can get an idea when my molds come. Like I got molds that are going to come that are cube, sphere, and pyramid and stuff like that. So I'm testing out some things ahead of time just to see what will work and what won't work. And so let me show you the first thing that I did. And remember, this is just under 24 hours. And again, back to the spirulina. I drink spirulina. I have it in powder. And this green is part of spirulina. So the green is a mix of glycerin, water, plant material, turmeric, sodium, citrate, and spirulina. So I don't know why, but when it hit the warm water, it turned like red. Then you can see sort of green, and then there'll be some green. It doesn't look like it. I don't know what's up with my camera, but what I'm looking at and what the camera's looking at is two different things. That's more like what I'm seeing. I'll show you what happened there. And again, I think it's the warm water that did that. So the reason I'm saying this is, now these came out really cool and perfect. I put these together real quick just to see what it'd be like. I thought if they work, they work. If they don't, the kids might like them. I'll tie some string and they can wear them as necklaces. So this came out like pretty nice within 20 to 22 hours. Just some copper wire, and what I did is I looped it and then I twisted it, and yeah, so that's pretty cool. So let me see here where I got that. So that came out good. Now let me show you something too with the wire, the copper wire, something that you might be interested in. So I tried this a long time ago just for the heck of it, and again I just did it just to see it, and now I understand it more. So this was a piece of serpentine jammy crystal. Looked really cool. I used my Dremel tool and I dug out a little like hole in it, like I bored a hole in it, and then I put some crazy glue in there, and you see how I twisted that into there like that. So that works out really cool, and I did it with this one too as well. This one I tried with Gorilla Glue. I just want to see the difference. I'm going to redo that. But it was just a natural piece, and instead of wire wrapping, if the piece isn't big enough, you can just bore a little space, like a crevice in the back. And this is like 5 years ago I did this, so they're still well. And if their piece is big enough, you can drill down into it with a special bit and then plop that in there to make it look even nicer. But these weren't, I couldn't do that with those. But I wanted to show you that idea as well. So I like this because I think it looks way more cleaner than wrapping it in copper. I have seen some professional, awesome sterling silver wraps and everything that are really awesome, but after about 4 years wearing it only once in a while, it's stained and tainted and like turned into rusted looking metal, kind of crap. So no matter how beautiful it was, it looked like crap afterwards, and I paid good money for it. So I started to do this just for the heck of it. Now you can get whatever color metal you want and twist it up like that, and like I said, the crazy glue you can't really see at all, and it works well. And look at how, let's see, look how nice and clean that looks. You can get whatever color rope you want as well, or you can get a copper chain, a silver chain, whatever you want to do. I'm just showing you that you can do this easy with a Dremel tool, twist it up, put it in there, and it looks so much more cleaner than all that wire wrapping stuff. Alright, so come back over here. Obviously this grew on it all around, so that's really neat. And I saw a girl do this, and I don't know if you can see all the druzy on there growing on this. I used this because it cracked when I was vacuuming, and I hit where I have it placed and it fell and cracked. But I can get a lot of these. I find them at the lake, freshwater. They're freshwater, and I get them in white and everything. But look at that druzy. It almost reminds me of the clamshells they find in Ruck's Pit down in Florida, where like all the clamshells and other kind of seashells are all calcified with like nice yellow and orange crystal growths and dog teeth calcite. So this is a fun way to do it. Now what I'm hoping is, I didn't buy all this to just have some borax fun and then watch it melt away and dissolve. So a lot of people cover it with nail polish. What's that called? clear coat. So I had this, so I'm going to try this. I'll let you know in the video, or maybe I'll show a final result of it. I'm not doing it now, and you gotta wait till it's all done. But I have this because there's some kind of crystals I have that where I was showing you those necklaces, where some of them underwater are absolutely amazing, but when they're dry, you can't see the crystal gemminess. So I tried doing a couple ones with this, and it worked. But the issue is this is so strong, and it was really thick. It's not really moving around, so it kind of coated it too thick and made it almost look a little bit too fake. So I'm going to try this and hang these and spray them as test models. And I'm going to spray this too, because I won't be too worried if it doesn't come out well and it looks crappy. I can get more of these. But isn't that cool, Druzy? Look on that beautiful shell. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try to pop this out and see what that is. And there's something in the bottom there I want to show you as well. I'm going to pop that out, and I'm going to let this sit for a little bit. What I did over here is I threw some, after it started crystalling, I threw some little amethyst chips that I had in there just to see what it would like. This didn't fill up like I thought. A lot of people use the pipe cleaners and they make tons of shapes and then it fills up. Understandable. I had the copper. So, and I'm waiting on, like I said, I'm waiting on everything. So, I wanted to see what would happen if I just placed sort of a copper pyramid that I tried to make, twisting up all that copper. And it grew, but it didn't fill in the gaps. But maybe it will eventually. So I'm not sure if I want to try to pull that out yet. You can see that it didn't grow, but all around the bowl it did. So it's interesting. And in this I put in real late last night. It's probably only got about 9 hours, but it's still starting to grow stuff. Again, I'm just messing around with things, coming up with like ideas. Like I can see myself maybe putting copper to make a sphere type look to it, and then dipping that in there. So that might be something I want to do. Now people are using, well, I only watched a few videos, but people are using these pipe cleaners. This down here are those twisty ties, you know, you get for garbage bags. And then, of course, I did the copper there. I think I saw one lady do copper. She was smart. I think copper is a lot nicer than that. Although, if you're going to do something, do it white. You could. I saw a lady do different colored pipe cleaners, and it did make the crystals look nice. But you got to grow them thick enough so you don't see the pipe cleaner. So she used purple, pink, and green, and it looked nice. I wanted to use dyes like some of the other people, but, you know, this is why I'm making this video, because this dye, at least in the hot water, didn't work out. And I'm imagining, since spirulina is in the blue, that might not work out. And maybe overall, it even says that it may change color if you, depending on the heat you're using when cooking and stuff. So they were only like $6, $7, but it might not work out that way. So let me pause this and show you what's down there and see if I can pop that out. And if so, I'm going to spray that today. Okay. So, I tried to use this and my hand. That thing is cemented to the bottom. It seems and looks pretty cool, but it's cemented to there. So, here's the interesting thing. Something solid like this, again, I think this is like a, is it porcelain? Is that what this is? I don't know. I called this Pyrex before. Maybe I was wrong, but this is some kind of porcelain or whatever. But, you know, you could throw it in the oven and everything like that. And this is some kind of, you know, glass. And it's all aligned there, and it's solid like a rock, right? So I can't get that out. I tried to rip it with my hand, and I thought, what the heck, man? I can't even budge it. So I'm not going to mess with that until these are in for a few more hours. I want to see how big I can get them. And then what will happen is, on another video, I'll pop this all out, and I'll show you what it looks like after the water's out of there. I'll get this into focus in a minute here. One of my kitchen lights went out. So this is kind of like what I wanted. You know, to give it like a fossilized look. So let's see if I can bring you over here and move my camera around so you can see. There it goes. So this broke. All these little crystals broke, and they're wet still, so they'll probably dissolve. So it didn't harden enough. It was in as long as the other stuff. Whether it was the solution or because it's in that plastic, it made a difference, but it's still wet. So I'll just let it sit there for a moment. But what I wanted to do is sort of have that just like it is. Look at that. Like, give it the impression that it was in a host rock. You know what I mean? Like in a host rock. Look at that. That is so damn cool. I was hoping it would fill in the cracks, but it didn't. But what it did do is it made it really druzy looking and beautiful. If you're not familiar with the term druzy, it's just tiny little flat quartz crystals. Think of a quartz point head, the triangle section. It's just that tiny, tiny, tiny. So look at that. I'm hoping this will dry. I'm going to pat it dry, and then I'm going to see if I can clear coat that, if it will work, because I really, really like this. Let me see how. Yeah, it appears to be solid on there. I don't know how solid, but I'm going to clear coat it and see if it works. Hold on 1 second here. See if I can get a better angle over here with the light. So there we go. That piece in there is going to have to come out. That's I guess that's one of these. Let's see if I can do this carefully. Okay, good. So now I have that. And I like it. I mean, because of the container shape, obviously it made this kind of unnatural base, but it almost, you know, I like that part of it and in there. So let's see if I can get that camera to focus again. Hold on. See if I can get this back here to focus. There it goes. All right, so I'm happy with this because I think that looks beautiful. And if I can clean it up from any parts that are just straggling behind, see it coming off on my finger. And wow, this looks so cool. Look up Ruck's Pit, Florida. Calcified or calcite clamshells. You'll understand what I'm talking about. It's absolutely amazing, that place. I wanted to get there. So anyway, I like this. I like the way it looks. It's like you chipped it out of a natural formation, and I like that. I like that a lot. So I'm very happy with this. Now let me show you something cool. So I find these big. These are actually for my neighbors, but I have some smaller than this. Mine are more iridescent with rainbow colors inside. But she has these nice purple ones. I'm going to clean off the side of this. Now that I see this and I spray it, if it comes out, and even if it does, I'm going to try it again. I'm going to do these as well. So that's another idea. So if you're into seashells and stuff and crystals, that is just so cool. So I may have to do it over. Let's see if this comes out. Because I'm noticing as it's sitting here is that it's melting away. So I'm not sure if it's because I didn't let it harden and let the water crystallize enough. Although, you know what's weird is it didn't have a top on it, so I'm not sure. But it almost looks like, I mean, there's a lot of water there coming out of there, and you can see it. Almost like snow melting. So people that I saw on the internet, they would just pat it dry, and let me see what happens here. Yeah, see, I can crush that. Not all of it, but I can crush it. So we'll see what happens. If it doesn't work, I'll do it again, and I'll just let it sit longer, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what the difference is coming out of here without a top and just being right here. I mean, I don't see the difference, how the air could affect it. It's still there with all the air flowing. So if anybody has an understanding of that, let me know, because no big deal. I could always do it over if it does do that. I wonder why. Hold on 1 second. So maybe because, well, I reached down in there and that's underwater and that's hard as a rock. I mean, I couldn't break that or budge it or anything. But that one, see, I had this top, but it wouldn't fit because it started bulging out. So it was like that. So maybe it has something to do with the air. But anyway, this is fun with borax, and I don't think there's anything else. So give me advice on that, what you see with that seashell. These seem to come out really good. I'll let that out of there. And once this is all empty, I'll show you inside and everything. But I wanted to make this video in case people are going to buy any food coloring, especially this kind of food coloring, to show that it might not work. I try not to use chemicals. I'm a vegan, non-GMO, organic, all that kind of stuff. But this project didn't work for that. I thought green would work real well. So once I get this done in a few hours, I'll make like a 2-minute video to show you. But give me some advice. Anybody that's done this and done it for a while, give me some advice on any kind of dye, the food coloring, and that seashell over there, because if I do it again, I need to know why it is leaking out. Like right now, trying to think like why it did that coming out of that plastic container. It's not like it was sealed and there was no liquid. There was no liquid in it. Like this has tons of liquid in it. That absorbed all the liquid. Because I want to do that again, and I want to make it look perfect. All right, so anything you can tell me about that, let me know. Again, if you're into this, I use this. I won't explain exactly how I did it, but basically what I feel the best way is, in watching the videos, is I had a separate pot, and I boiled water, and I got the water boiled, and then I started pouring the water in here, and I get it about halfway. And what I did is I started adding the borax and whisking it until you couldn't see it anymore. Then I added more borax, and I kept doing that until there was no borax, and then I added more water, and I kept doing that. I did that in each bowl. For the little guy, I did it right in the pot, and then once I felt it was enough, I let it cool a little bit, and then I poured it into that little seashell thing. So that's how I did it. You can do it either way. I've seen people boiling all together in a pot in the stove and then hanging stuff in it, and I've seen people doing it my way. It really doesn't matter. I did a couple different test things. That's why I did it my way, because I needed 3 different bowls. So I was just boiling water and stirring, and it seemed to work. This didn't come out as crystallized as this pot, yet I did it the exact same way, and I did it until there was no borax, left to see. So this one looks more crusty and thick on the bottom and around the sides than this one does on the bottom, but maybe it's a trick of the eye because of the clear bowl, you know, that fish tank kind of look. So let's see. All right, so that's it. I just wanted to share that in case people are into this. And again, once I get this on here, and if my seashell works out, that will be in like a 3-minute video just to show you the after effects. But I wanted to make sure you saw about the dye, because that's the most important thing. All right, so I'm waiting on my pipe cleaners. I'm waiting on my silicone molds that are geometric shapes, and a couple other things. I'm also going to do copper sulfate, Epsom salt crystals, and alum and ADP. They are awesome. The ADP ones look like quartz crystals, and I'm going to make them the size of my hand and sticking up like that. Go to Gemstones. That's the name of a channel, Gemstones, and look at ADP giant crystals or ADP mega crystals. That's what I want to make. All right, love yous. Bye.